Are you ready? Let's do this!
Hi, family. Welcome back. I wanted to welcome everybody back to another episode of the Gold Corner. As I do every week, just thank you all for your continued support. I'm just overwhelmed and I'm humbled just by the response that we're getting to this channel, especially with September coming up, Childhood Cancer Awareness. We need to speak and we need to spread as much awareness as we can. It's We need to be a voice for these children. We need to be a voice and tell people that 4% is not enough. And somehow, somewhere, we're going to make this happen. And we just need to make a difference for our children. So once again, thank you and welcome to this week's episode. This week, I am honored to have a good friend of mine. I actually would consider her a good friend of mine. For the reason being is when my daughter Mia was first diagnosed and her mom and I took her to the hospital, she was one of the very first families that we actually became friends with, walking around the hallway. For parents that have gone through this and have been in a hospital for a while, you all become family. Again, I want to create a family here, but you all become family with the people there, with the other families around in the hospital. So Marisa Robles, from currently living in Las Cruces, New Mexico, she was there with her daughter, beautiful young lady, and we're going to hear that touching story right now in just a couple of minutes about her, just everything that she went through. I don't want to touch too much on it. I don't want to ruin the story. I want it to be told firsthand by Marisa about her beautiful daughter. But again, Marisa was one of these parents that we would walk around the hallway. Her and Mia's mom actually became and are still very, very good friends. And so I just want to welcome Marisa to the Gold Corner. Marisa, thank you very much for accepting to be here. Again, we followed Lydia's story for a while, and it's a very touching story. It made not only local news, but it made nationwide news of her story. So, without further ado, Marisa, welcome to the Gold Corner. The floor is yours, and tell us about your warrior.
Well, thank you for having me. When you first mentioned that you were doing this, I thought, wow, this is kind of what I wish, somebody braver and stronger than me could do, because I knew I wasn't ready. Yes, you actually, you and Mia's mom were one of the first families I met, and would actually talk to me. And I kept hearing your daughter in the hallway, and I thought, gosh, she's so cute. I want to go out there. She sounds so happy, and I could hear you guys. And I finally thought, well, I'm tired of sitting in this room. I cannot get my daughter out of this room to go walk or do anything. I was scared I was going to get fat. So I thought, I need to go walk around. And so that's when I ran into you guys. And, we started talking. And it's like amazing to be hit off with another family that knows and is going through the same thing that you are. But what really touched me was when you guys had mentioned that my daughter had cancer and she wasn't feeling too good. She didn't want to come out in the hallway, and she says, it's okay. It'll be okay. Your daughter will be okay. Everything will be fine. To hear that from your daughter, so little, just touched my heart. It just was a lot. And wow, I said, okay, if this little girl has this much of a passion, I need to continue that for my daughter and try to push it more and more on her. My daughter, of course, was a fun, healthy child when she was little. Loved cheer, dance, music. Oh my God, music is life for my daughter. And as she grew up, we, moved around. And when we moved to Las Cruces, me and her father just didn't work. So we went our own ways. And my daughter hit middle school. And, during that time, I was waiting for her. She's becoming a teenager. We've got to deal with all the fun teenage stuff. She was complaining about a lot of pain in her side, in her back. And I figured, cramps. We're dealing with, it's that time. So I figured she'd be one that would have, severe pain, menstrual, whatnot. But after a while, she just, any touch we did near her, or her pants were too tight, she said, but they weren't. Any pressure around her waistline really bothered her, until one night we were all in the living room, and she went to the restroom, came back, and she says, "Mom, I'm in too much pain." And I said, "Okay, well, let's take you to the hospital." And she got on the floor and just screaming, because I guess it was a really strong, striking pain. We couldn't even touch her. We said, we're going to call the ambulance. We'll have them come pick you up. And she's all, "I will deny them, Mom. I don't want them to touch me. It hurts too much." I didn't know what to do as a mom. This isn't a cold or a flu. Mom can't fix this one. So scheduled her doctor's appointment. They checked her, your normal, teenage check. And doctor called me back the next day and says, her test came back abnormal. I need you guys to come in. I said, okay. So, we went in. I called her father and I said, "Hey, there's something wrong with Lydia. We need to go in. The doctor really wants us in there." He was like, "Whatever. Okay, let's go." So we went with her, and she said, "We're looking at some levels in her body that are not normal, and it shows that there's a possibility." She goes, "I don't want to say it, but it could be just kidney failure, maybe even liver failure. You could just be dealing with dialysis." And I thought, wow, holy moly, dialysis the rest of our life. Can we do this? We could do it. And so she says, "I'm scheduling you guys right away to go and get her in for biopsy." So we went to Mountain View Medical here in Las Cruces, and we got the biopsy done the next day. And I said, "What do we need to look for? Like, what do we need to worry about or whatever?" She says, "If they see something major, they'll contact me right away and I'll call you in." But she says, "There's a chance that it might be okay. It just might be that, the kidney's just not functioning very well, and we just may have to remove it. That may happen sometimes with kids." So it was nice to hear her being optimistic, but she was still wanting more tests. So biopsy went. She went with her father, and I got a call from the doctor within, I would say maybe an hour or two, and says, "I need you guys to come back to my office." It was almost time for them to close. And I called her dad. I said, "We need to go now." So we went, and that's when she told us, "We're looking at possible cancer. You need to go see a kidney specialist. And I'm referring you to El Paso." So we had about 2 weeks, and then we were scheduled. We went in, and the doctor looked at all the results that went over to him from Cruces Hospital, and he says, "I'm seeing too much of, I don't know. It's not, it seems like it's kidney tissue, but it's not kidney tissue. I'm going to need another biopsy." Okay, so we went as a family. It was Lydia, of course, my son, my husband's 2 kids, so my stepchildren, and then my little girl. I do still have a little one. And we were having somewhat of a mini vacation, a getaway in El Paso. So we get back to the hotel, enjoying the swimming pool. It was one that has a water slide by the airport, and I get a call, and it's her doctor, and says, "Do you know where El Paso Children's Hospital is?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I need you to go there right away. I need you to go to the 7th floor. There's a room ready and waiting for you." As a mom, you freak out like, "What? This is all you're telling me?" there's got to be more. And I said, what's going on? And she says, the doctors will inform you as soon as you get there. I thought, okay, maybe this is just a biopsy. That's all I thought. Had high hopes, you know? We get there. The minute that we do, they start getting her ready, get IVs, getting her set in. And I says, what's going on? And they're like, we're just going to make sure she's okay, like she's hydrated. They'd ask her, are you hungry? She goes, I'm not hungry. I'm hardly ever hungry. So they wanted to make sure that she had everything she needed. And all of a sudden, nurses were coming in, having me sign papers. Administration was coming in to admit her. And then when it really hit me was when Make-A-Wish came in and had me sign papers saying, telling me about Make-A-Wish, how it's more for terminally ill children. I thought, what? Why am I signing this stuff? They said, oh, the doctor will be with you shortly. I kept waiting, and I kept being told this constantly by the nurses. Anybody who came in the room. Finally, the doctors did come in, and they finally said, within everything that we have, we do believe that there is a mass. Your daughter does have cancer, but what we've seen, and we're going to run more tests, it's only centralized in the kidney. So we will remove the kidney and see if we can get, that could be all of it. So they took her down, ran tests, all kinds of things went on. My husband brought me and her suitcase, so we were there. It threw our family for a loop because we were supposed to still be there 2 more days on vacation. I know, El Paso vacation, right? But no, we ended up there a week. They prepped her and got her ready. She had, I think it was about a 6 to 8 hour surgery to remove the kidney. And when they came out, they said it was successful. She was doing fine, but they had more news to let us know. And they said it had grown, and it had spread already to the lymph nodes, and was looking not great because they couldn't get it, and that my daughter would have cancer for a while until they could. I just heard a big crack in my world. That's all I heard. I couldn't fix her. That's the worst feeling a mother could ever have. So she got better from her surgery, which was great. It was a tough road. Lydia's very, she's not good at pain. She was very upset, angry. Why does this hurt? Just make it go away. You know, having to make her sit up to get, you know, her muscles going by her stomach. She was mad because of her incision. She didn't want to walk. She didn't want to eat. She hit major depression, you know, pretty hard at 15 years old to have to go through something like this when all you're worried about is what you're going to wear to school and, you know, is this boy going to talk to me or not? My daughter didn't go through that. So we were in the hospital for a while, and they ran more tests, and finally, after, I would say 3 days, they let us know what type of cancer she had. And they took us into our own private room, and they let us know she is going to be diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma. It is a kidney cancer, but they said this cancer has only been found in adults 60 or above, based on them for years taking high levels of pain medication to maintain pain, and your kidneys eventually can't filter that out. And asked me tons of questions, questioning my life, how I raised her, where we lived, kind of made me feel I was a bad guy, like I didn't raise her right. But then they kept saying, do you think she's addicted to pain medication? And I says, no, I know my daughter. No, she's not. But why? Why would that happen? So they did more tests, and they did find out. They said that the only thing with this cancer is that there is no cure. They were never to be able to find a cure because everybody who was being given the chemo, the radiation, were too weak and never made it. Their bodies gave out by other things like they said it would spread, and it could spread anywhere. It could hit any of the main organs in her body. They just would never know which ones or when and how fast or how long. But they wanted us to spend as much time as possible, enjoy, and make many memories, because we didn't know how long we'd have. Tough thing to hear. She was my first child. To know in my mind, my first child, and my first child to go, no, this is not going to happen. So we did everything we could. They said that they would have an exploratory drug, which was a pill she could take twice a day, and they would monitor her. She could only be on this for 2 years because her body would, of course, become immune. No need for radiation because the masses were small. It would cause more damage to her body. So they had to worry about the side effects because it was a new drug, exploratory. And right away, me and her dad said, yes, we're going to do everything we could for her in any way means possible. The doctors were great. They informed us on everything. They never kept me out of the dark. I researched a lot. I looked things up, and every time we would go to the doctor for checkups, I would ask them questions. I would say, okay, well, I saw this, so what if we tried this? Is it possible at home we could do this instead? There's this diet, there's that diet. Can we try this? Can we do that? And they said, you can do whatever you want to. Just let us know what you're doing so we know what we're looking for when we take her blood work, run her tests, and we can see. So I did what I could. She fought long and hard for 2 years. We had our ups and downs. She was angry. We had to take the doors off the hinges because we were scared because we were dealing with a depressed teenager. I didn't want her to give up on life, to worry whether if I ran to the store, I'd come home and she was alive or not, is a fear I always had. Because she said she didn't want to have to deal with this no more. She just wanted to go. And I said, not yet. It's not your time. You're going to beat this. Just keep positive. We're going to beat this. We were scared because once she hit high school, she was going to the doctor a lot. We were going at least twice a week, if not once every week. And was not easiest for us to travel from Las Cruces to El Paso. I lost my job because I was given an ultimatum, which is really sad. But of course, family and your kids come first. So I'm very grateful that my husband was able to carry us the best he could during that time. We never saw each other. He would come up sometimes to visit us, but he did what he needed to take care of the rest of the kids. And so grateful that for that, so I could be there for her every day. It just got a lot, and I told him, I don't know what to do. How are we going to do this with school? They're not going to allow her that many absences, which they didn't. They told us, we're sorry, within the district rules, we can't, which I don't think that's fair for kids who are sick and have cancer, who have to go through these treatments, who sometimes don't feel good, but they still need that social interaction, and it's still safe for them to be in public. I feel that's something that needs to be thought of and changed. That's a whole other step. We were able to find a school here in Las Cruces, Rio Grande Preparatory, which she got in. She was able to take some college courses, found an interest in baking, and became the team leader of her baking class, her group. It was amazing to see her and see a passion, and she was happy again. That was my daughter. I kept telling her, you are granted a Make-A-Wish, so you need to decide what is it your wish you want. She had no idea until then, and we were always big fans of Buddy from Cake Boss, and she eventually chose that to go see Buddy from Cake Boss, and with the help of her school, that she was able to graduate early. She graduated at 17 years old. We got to see her, walk down and get her diploma. One of the funny things is that I do love to share, and I actually have my cousin made me a little glass square that we light up, and it says, the best memories are made in chanclas. She wore her chanclas out, and I still have those chanclas, which are amazing because her foot's imprinted in them. And she wore her chanclas to graduate. No high heels for this woman. She refused it. When we made it to go see Buddy from Cake Boss, we had 4 days in New York. We stayed in New Jersey, which amazing trip for our whole family. To be able to see her smile again, enjoy life, hear her giggle, make fun of us, and see what she loved the most. She loved New York. She loved and wanted to experience that, and we could not ever give that to her, because that's wow. The amount of money just to go, I can only imagine, and I can only thank Make-A-Wish for that amazing trip. To see her with Buddy from Cake Boss was amazing. She got to make her graduation cake that she really wanted. And you could just see how steady and passionate she was. And I'll never forget, Buddy's watching her and he says, do you want a job? And I'm like, yes, she does, because she's going to beat cancer and she can move here. Yes, she'll be here. She just was like, still knew in the back of her mind, yeah, right, Mom. Coming back was a very interesting trip because I had to carry the cake back on the plane. It was a 3-tier cake with a Mickey Mouse on top. Oh my goodness. But when we had our cake party, cutting at home with family, she did say, hey, let's cut Mickey Mouse up and see if he has cancer too, like me. It was nice to always have that sense of humor every now and then when she'd pop up and be happy. As she got older, she finally turned 18, and we were on a new exploratory drug already. And she was having a lot of side effects, a lot of blisters on her feet, rashes. It was hard. It was really hard to take a lot of her pain away. And every pain medication they gave her, it wasn't enough. We couldn't leave with the pain medication because it's too high of a dose. So it lasted for a couple days, and then we were back at it again. I think we'd go to El Paso maybe 2 or 3 times a week because she was in so much pain. And we didn't stay the whole weekend because they wanted to make sure, because more and more pain was happening. Ran scans, and the first chemo minimized the cancer. Was great. Nothing was growing. Second chemo, it wasn't working. Radiation still wasn't the plan. It was still going to harm her. She was too little. So all we had to do was have our faith. I'm not going to say that prayers didn't work. They did. They did for a bigger reason. A reason I'm understanding right now. Well, she turned 18. That was a fun adventure because she waited exactly to 12:01, right on her birthday. A minute after she was out the door, she already had her car packed with all her stuff. Where she was going, I don't know. All I could tell her is, I love you. Please keep taking your medication. I'll let you know when your doctor's appointments are. And if you want to go by yourself, you're welcome to. If you want me there, I'll be there. She was 18. What could I do? She wanted control of her life. Hardest thing a mother can do is to let her be an adult. I found out where she went. I talked to who she was living with, and I asked and pleaded, please help me. Make sure she takes care of herself, takes her medication. This is what she has. And be a friend. I spoke to her work. They knew, they understood. She had a job. She was a hostess at an Applebee's here in Las Cruces. And they were amazing. They still are amazing. All our employees took care of her, helped her. Sometimes if I couldn't make it, they would take her and make sure and stay with her. There was one time our vehicle broke, and one of them drove me over there and made sure I was with her. But I will say this, Applebee's family that we have grown to have is amazing. They will do everything they can to help us, and they helped her a lot. And I couldn't thank them enough, because when she finally got really sick, it was the day after Thanksgiving, and she was already 19. No, she was not 19 yet. She's going to be turning 19. And they took her to the hospital because apparently she had been throwing up a lot, had not ate, and wasn't feeling very well, and was running a fever. So when she got to Mountain View, they just had her there practically all day. They didn't know what to do. They were full that day. She finally texted me and said, hey Mom, I've been in the hospital since this morning. I have been throwing up and I'm not feeling good. I, of course, freaked out, but didn't make sure she heard or knew. I said, I'm already on my way. I didn't care if I got a ticket. I flew to the hospital. And the minute I got there, I said, who is taking care of my daughter? And they said, the doctor will be with you shortly. And I says, I don't want a doctor. I want a nurse who's dealing with my daughter right now. And the nurse came, and I says, I'm requesting for you to call Paso Children's Hospital. I'm not saying you guys aren't a good hospital, but you can't take care of my daughter. They know what she needs, and that's where we need to go. And I had already been on the phone with El Paso. They were already going to start sending the ambulance to come get her. And They were here fast. They got us there fast, and they took care of her fast. And they maintained her nausea, maintained her pain, and she slept. She literally slept for 2 days. She was so tired. The doctor finally came in and said, well, we need to talk to you, but we have to wait for her because she is 18 and it is her decision already. So hard. They told us cancer's back. They were going to run her to get tests done. When the test came back, they said, it's in the lungs. It's been in the lungs. She had never been telling me that she has been having a hard time breathing and coughing a lot. She thought maybe it's the flu. It was November. She figured she was getting like allergies, cold flu symptoms, but it wasn't. It was the cancer in the lungs. When we finally got pictures back, it showed the bottom part of her lung on her right side was already fully engulfed with cancer. It had already taken over. They said there was another mass, and it was pushing on her liver, attached to the liver that was causing her all the pain, and they never saw it. They said there's only hours, maybe days. You want to call the family. You guys need to really think what it is we're going to do. So, try to talk to her. She didn't want to hear it. She says, no, I still have a lot of things I want to do. I still want to have a baby. I still want to get married. I want to travel. And we said, well, we understand. I understand, but we've got to really think about this. She's angry. She didn't talk to me. She didn't talk to hardly anybody. She had no choice but to take her medicine. And they said, we can continue giving her the chemo, but we don't see it's going to help. So they moved us up. Oh gosh, I don't even want to remember the floor. But when they moved her up there, my two older children decided to come and see their sister. And I told them, you guys stay with her. I would like a break. So me and my husband went on a date that night, came home to Las Cruces and let them stay there. And I says, enjoy your time with your sister. They had a nice little sleepover in her room and watched movies and ate junk food and ordered her hot wings and pizza, donuts like she loved. And I get a phone call early in the morning, and it's my son, frantic. Mom, you need to get here now. Lydia's not doing good. I don't know what to do. The doctors need to talk to you. This is not a call I wanted to ever hear from my kids, especially my son. So when they finally moved Lydia to, I think it was ICU, I helped but to get there, but something kept delaying me. Like, I needed to find this red sweater, and I didn't want to leave until I found this red sweater. My husband says, just leave it. I'll bring it to you. Let's go, and I'll take it to you later. I says, no, I need this red sweater. Finally found it, and we took off. My kids were scared. They were grateful for me to be there, and they were just like, you could feel their presence of like, thank you, you're here, Mom. Like, they didn't have to worry no more. And they let us know it's not good. They had ran Lydia's tests already, checked her x-rays with her lungs, and it had pretty much only the top part of her right lung was open for oxygen, and the left lung had spots of cancer you could see that were growing. So I contacted her father right away. I'm grateful he showed up safely because I know he was probably going about 100 miles an hour. Called and let the rest of the family know, and family started flocking in from all over. I did let the doctors and nurses know that we have a big family and we're going to take over if you're allowing us to have this visitation. And we did. We took over the waiting room everywhere. Everybody's very respectful for all the other patients, but Lydia was taking more and more oxygen in, more and more pain medicine. It just was a lot. They told her, I don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow, sweetie. So how are we going to do this? What is it you want us to do? And again, she says, no, do something about it. I want to fight more. I want to get married. I want to have kids. She says, Mom, make it happen. Can't do that. So she didn't want to talk to us. She didn't want any of us there. So we left the room. Her boyfriend for a year, he's like, I want to make her happy. He said, well, best thing we can do is marry her. He says, yeah, I just don't know how to do this. So we said, we'll figure this out. We're her parents. It's our job. We'll do what we've got to. My ex-husband got all excited. My husband did what he could to help me out the best, to keep me focused. And he called a great friend of mine who is a pastry chef there in El Paso. She's now in New York. She jumped on it, made Lydia's wedding cake. I called my brother. His girlfriend at the time had a dress from her confirmation. Said, we're on our way. What else do you need? I said, flowers, red flowers. She loves red roses. My sisters jumped in right away. When I got roses, they started decorating the waiting room. Children's Hospital jumped in, helped us. The kitchen made sandwiches and ice cream and made punch. My ex-husband went and got himself some nice clothes, and Josh, her husband, some nice clothes, because we didn't want anybody to go far. So Fox Plaza was our place. We took our time. We got our hair done. My daughter did her makeup. My little one, 9 years old, did her makeup. While she was sleeping in and out. She was always in and out of sleeping. And then we told her, Lydia, hey, it's time. And during all this, I did record. I recorded her proposal that her husband did. And I made sure that we went Facebook Live. And I took my restrictions off my Facebook so the world could see it. And once we did the proposal, later that day, we had the wedding. We found a priest who's willing to marry them in a non-traditional way, more of a spiritual way, which you don't find that, and it's hard to find. And we were very blessed to have this man do this for us. We told her 5 o'clock, we're going to have this done. And she says, no, let's do it tomorrow. And I says, no, not tomorrow. Let's do this today. She just kept on, no, tomorrow. And he says, no, we're going to do this today because this is the only chance we have. Everybody's here. We had so many more family coming. And she was like, okay. So when it came time, I said, Lydia, it's time. We need to put your dress on. Let's get you up to put your dress on. She says, no, Mom, I got to do my hair and my makeup. And I says, we already did it for you. She goes, oh, no. Got up, not thinking at all. She's hooked up to all these machines, and she can't just jump up and go to the restroom to go get ready. We had to tell her, hold on. But she still was pushing, went to the bathroom, and it was amazing because I got to see her as her. And she says, oh, you did a horrible job on my makeup. My hair looks like shit. Excuse me for that, but it's her, you know? Pardon me, let me turn my light on real quick. There, that's better. And I was able to be in the bathroom with her, holding her while she put on her makeup herself. She stood there and has never been able to stand that long to do her makeup. I found out it takes 3 to 4 different types of mascara to make those beautiful long eyelashes she had. I had no idea. And then she was ready. The priest came in and she asked him, do you have anything? I want to be baptized. For my daughter to do that. She really didn't believe in God because she said, why? Why would God do this to me? There is no God. But she asked for it and says, Mom, but I do believe in God. I want you to know. At the same time, we didn't know what to expect. So he, of course, gave her her last rites, baptized her, blessed her. That was an amazing moment for me. Well, as we were starting to get ready to go, she said, I'm going to walk down the aisle. And we were like, okay, that's kind of far. I don't think the oxygen is enough for you to walk. And she still persisted, I'm going to walk down the aisle. And then she took a nap and woke up and says, I need my high heels. Why didn't you get me high heels? And he says, you can't wear high heels. I want my high heels. And the doctor goes, I'm sorry, I cannot allow you to wear high heels, but I do have some really pretty red socks that I do approve of, and they'll look really nice with your dress. She was not happy, but then she totally forgot about it. Amazing company, Vapotherm, that provided her oxygen for her wedding. It was a huge green beast, is what I called it. Oxygen tank. Walked behind her as she walked down the aisle, as me and her father walked her. And she, with me holding her, she did it on her own. It wasn't us doing it. She did it on her own. That's amazing. To have that strength, to have that pain, that the doctors said they can't even believe that she's still going with as much pain and medication as she had. She stood through the vows. She stood through it all. But then at the very end, when we finally got to sit her down, she was just like she made it. She did what she wanted, her goal. They're so happy. We did our traditional, reception. We played their music. Amazing song they chose. I cannot believe the song. And it just blows my mind, these kids. No care in the world. All they cared about was to make each other happy. And here we all are, worrying about the littlest stupid things. And all they wanted was to be happy with the little time that they had. That was amazing. We were grateful that KBIA, which I do watch a lot. I respect them because a great friend of mine, Hillary Florin, I went to school with her. I only requested for them to be there because they asked if they could call the news station for this ceremony, and I said yes, but that's the only one I wanted in here, and they honored that. I was grateful. That night it went as one of the lead stories, and once it hit that, my Facebook page went crazy because we recorded the wedding. El Paso Children's Hospital also posted the wedding. We hit a max of 117 million views. I don't know what it is on YouTube right now. I didn't take into consideration to protect it, to have it just for us, to make sure we were able to keep the rights for it. I don't feel that's how this is supposed to be on this story. It's supposed to be shared with the world. My daughter, at 19 years old, suffered the toughest thing ever, took it on as bravely as she could. To be told at 15, you're going to die. I don't know how to fix this. It's amazing. She had major strengths, major goals, and accomplished as much as she could in the time that she had. Our family enjoyed her the last couple days. She was mean, sassy, funny, and all she wanted was her donuts, hot wings, pizza, pickles, and watch all her favorite movies. And it's crazy. It happened that whole time in the hospital. We would have these nights with some of the nurses. They would come check on her, and she loved 50 Shades of Grey. So sometimes the nurses would come in and they'd be like, oh, let's go to Lydia's room, 50 Shades of Grey night, party at Lydia's room. And she said, Mom, Valentine's Day's coming. I'm going to get out and I'm going to go watch 50 Shades, I think was 50 Shades Freed at the time. And I says, good, babe, I believe you will. And she goes, I am. And my husband's going to take me. And I said, well, did you tell him that? And she goes, I don't need to tell him. He's just going to do it. That next day, my husband played all her favorite music. My daughter loved music from all genres. She slept the most peaceful that night. I didn't have to get up and rub her. I didn't have to. She hardly ever went to the restroom. She hardly ever budged. And her oxygen levels were very low. So they kept coming in to check, and we kept saying, she's okay, you know. I can only imagine for my son-in-law how weird it was, his wedding night, and his mother-in-law's at the end of the bed. While they slept, I just watched. Amazing thing to see. I rubbed her legs because they kept getting more and more swollen. She lasted 2 days after she got married. Great peaceful nights. My husband was amazing, making sure he played her favorite music to keep her calm, and she did. Valentine's morning, I could see her levels, and I posted and said, please pray for us, family and friends. It's only a matter of time. We all stepped out for a little bit to just get out of the room, and some were getting coffee, and the doctor came to check on us, and he was just kept saying how amazed he is to see her still going, and she's been a miracle with all the medication. But the nurse finally came out and says, hey, Lydia's awake. So we all went in there fast like we always do, excited to see her. And I sat by her, right next to her, and everybody was just at the end of the bed. And she kind of sat up a little. Her husband woke up. She gave him a big hug. She looked at everybody, and I was holding her hand. And I will say, I was given the best blessing ever. I was there for her first breaths, and I got to see the last and feel it. No mother should go through that. No father should. But it was still amazing. And it's still a blessing. On her last breath, right before I did tell her, it's okay, babe. I'm okay. If you're tired, it's okay. You can go. But deep down, I didn't want her to go. I just knew she was tired. It was just an amazing experience. Nothing we thought we'd ever have to. And I always knew she was going to be something big. Ever since she was born, she didn't want to come out when she was supposed to. I knew she was going to do things on her time, because that's how she always was. When Lydia was ready to do it, Lydia was going to do it. And she put her mind to it. And she did it till the end. She held on for a reason. I've always hated Valentine's Day. I thought it was a dumb holiday. Why can't we just get it every now and then? I don't hate Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day. It's an amazing holiday. Afterwards, of course, we dealt with all funeral services, everything. I was amazed. We had an anonymous donor paid for my daughter's funeral services. Who they are, thank you very much. What you did there for my family, wow. We did get her cremated. I have a little of her, her husband has a little of her, and her father has a little of her. It was her request. And I cherish her in my home every day. I talk to her. My little one, who's 9, says sister still comes in her dreams. When we told our littlest one, she wasn't there. I didn't really have her exposed to a lot of that. Not that I didn't want her to, it was school time. School was important. We needed to make sure. That day she missed her Valentine's party at school. So our family all got together and got her Valentine's gifts. When we got home, I told everybody, do not tell her anything. We want to tell her. So me and my husband took her to the room and said, sister was really sick. And she goes, yeah, I know, mommy. And sister passed away. She's no longer with us, but she is in heaven with God, and she'll be there for you in your dreams and in your prayers. And she says, that's good. I'm glad, because now my sister isn't hurting. She didn't cry. She got a little sad, quiet, but she didn't cry. And I looked at her like, wow, my child, this young, is so strong that she understands. And here I am, so selfish, crying over this. We are doing something right. As parents, we are doing something right to make her understand that there is this illness out here that we do need to make so many people aware of. And that's one of our biggest things that we do. Since my daughter passed, it's been a big passion of mine and my little one, Bria. My husband supports us. He is in the military, so he is taken, quite often. So we're able to do a lot more. And he joins us when he can. We decided to make Team Lydia and give back to the organizations that helped us during the time that my daughter was sick. She passed away at 19 years old. So her good 4-year fight. We will give back to Make-A-Wish. The Make-A-Wish of El Paso. We do help candlelighters of El Paso because they helped us so many times with gas, food. It's all we really needed was food and gas. That was what was important. And whenever El Paso Children's Hospital is having an event, we do support, They did their best that they could. They resourced as much as they could out, but none of us really have the right answer of how we are supposed to cure this. But we do have a voice. And as other grieving mothers and fathers out there, we know that this is a big passion we have to share with the world. It would drive me nuts to go to Walmart because it's always, oh, let's go pink for breast cancer. I understand and I respect that. A month after Lydia passed, we lost my mother-in-law to breast cancer. So breast cancer is important to me too. And that was a really hard time to, after burying my daughter, to go again and do the same thing again. For 6 months we did this. We lost a family member every 6 months. Before Lydia was my father-in-law. A cousin, my husband's cousin, she lost her battle to cancer. That was hard. My husband's grandmother passed away. I had an uncle pass away. And there was Lydia, and then my mother-in-law. We have not really recovered. But we have been given the strength by only God and our faith to continue and meeting other families that are going through it or trying to get out of it. So to have this go gold for the cure is amazing. We do need to have this out there. Why can't Walmart go gold too for childhood cancer? Why is it only just breast cancer? I just don't see how that's okay. You see them sometimes putting it out there for other things of, like ALS and all this stuff. But I don't see anything for childhood cancer. And I feel we should make a difference, a huge difference. Even hit up to where, we hit these major technology places like Verizon, T-Mobile or whatever to provide devices for teenagers who are in the hospital and they're not interested in all this stuff of arts and crafts, A lot of them aren't like that. They're into music. They're into technology. This is where we should hit home and see within these major musicians to come in and just don't know. There's something bigger and better for us too, to be able to fund and help these resources to find a cure for childhood cancer, for all these different types of cancer, especially my daughters that they say they can't find a cure. We did donate her organs so that they could see what could have been the cause or how they can help. It is now over 2 years and I still haven't heard back from them. So it does bother me. I feel that we don't have enough out there and we need to. So anybody who's having a fundraiser or anything for childhood cancer, I am there to back them up and sponsor. Do the best that I can. I have always had a passion for hospitality and started working again afterwards. It took me a while. Loved my job, and that's when I ran into Noel here, and I was so excited. It was like finally I got to see somebody again that I can relate to, associate with. And I'm not saying my coworkers couldn't. They just don't feel what I feel. They don't know the struggle I go through to wake up every day, to put my makeup on, put some jewelry on, or even look nice. Especially when you have to hear your 9-year-old child tell you, "Mommy, when are you going to get out of the couch? When are you going to get up and get ready and look pretty like you always do? I miss you." That's when you know you need to get up out of your little funk, your depression, for other kids, for your own kids, and for other people. I have not only been helping with fundraising and have my daughter's team Lydia going. I am part of our local Rotary here in Las Cruces. I was the chair for a year for a sister Rotary, a satellite Rotary. It was amazing, and we do work alongside Make-A-Wish to do fundraising and golf tournaments and stuff like that. It's really hard that COVID has hit and we are at a standstill. But we are helping locally within the schools, the students, whatever we can, the safest way we can. And I know I'm not done. I have so many ideas that because I'm not able to work, I have always had in the back burner a company called Origami Owl, and they are a company that is a force for good. Amazing company. They have everything that I'm looking for. I have a huge additional family besides my own that help me there at the Nest, which is located in Phoenix. I'm my mentor, Karen Alanis. She saw me on TV, hit me up because I had kind of fell off, and she says, "Marisa, this is for you again. You've got this." And I've enjoyed it because they're a force for good. They like to do a lot of fundraising. They love to be there for the communities and give back. And it's like I found my passion. This is what life was giving me. God didn't take my daughter just to take my daughter. God took my daughter to show, for me to show the world that there's more that we can do. And we have a voice. I have a voice. My daughter has a voice. Every other child fighting cancer has a voice. It is up to us parents to continue that and fight for our kids, for others to find a cure, to find what we can do for all the kids. And it's very important to me to support the Gold Corner. Any organization, go gold for El Paso. I mean, I'm there. My little daughter is there. and she wears her shirts proudly, Team Lydia. And kids ask her, "What's that?" She goes, "You don't know? How do you not know? We're like all over the internet. You could look up YouTube and look up my sister's name, and she's there, and I'm on there, and I'm famous." She's so proud of her sister. I don't know what more I can do to show her to be something more. So it's amazing.
Well, Marissa, I think you're just doing an excellent job, and thank you for sharing with us that powerful story. Um, like you mentioned, we did meet up
Yeah.
last year at an event, and I had lost my passion for repping. I love being in the cage, and I had just lost my passion. And I said, I'm no longer going to rep. I don't want to do this anymore after Mia passed. And I had some great friends tell me, no, that's what you love to do. You should continue doing it. So actually,
Yeah.
when you and I went back and we saw each other again, that was my first time stepping back into the cage after Mia had passed.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was it was very emotional to be back in the cage. But like you said, I felt that comfort knowing that you were there working that night too, that we can relate. And I had lost through everything, the trauma. I lost a lot of memory of a lot of things. And now that you brought it up, I remember walking around and Mia would just make a lot of noise in the hallway. And when you walked out, and I remember her telling you she's gonna be okay. She's gonna
Yeah,
be okay. And now they're okay. They're both okay, and they're both pain
they
free.
are.
So I
Yeah.
love when you touch that part that you're saying that even though they're not here anymore, they still have a voice, and they're
Yeah.
still gonna have a voice, and they're probably gonna have a bigger voice now than they ever did while being here. And I don't I don't care if I even die trying. I'm gonna make a
Mhm.
difference. We're gonna make a difference for our children, for these
Yeah.
kids that are about to go through this fight. That is exactly what the Gold Corner is about. Is we're in the corner of all these kids that are fighting, and we're right there behind them, and we're cheering them on. And yeah, we're gonna do something. We need to do something. And again, if I die trying, trust me, I would be more than happy doing that. And if I die in the process, hey, I get to see my daughter a lot sooner. So,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. Now, um, I'm gonna be sharing once we actually finish this. If you send me all the links for the YouTube channel, I remember when we were here with you guys. We were only here for about a month and a half, but I remember when we left to Fort Worth, we followed the entire story. We saw your Facebook Live, and it was just it was just so touching. It was so touching, and once Lydia passed, it did hit us. And I know Mia's mom, it hit her very, very bad because, we all became friends, but you two as moms became even better friends. And I know in the event that she had last year, she even featured a
Oh,
banner
yes.
of Lydia that I'm going to be posting up the picture. So I know it hit her very bad. It did hit all of us, but what an inspirational story. And like you said, Lydia, it happened in her time. Whatever she wanted to
Mhm.
do, she made it happen. And
Yeah.
just grateful for all the people that came around and gave her that opportunity to do that. I just thank you for doing what you're doing right now with Team Lydia and what you're doing with your origami owl. Whatever information you want me to put in the description of the tape, I'll go ahead and do that because we need to make people aware. We need to spread as much awareness. And you're right, yeah, they go pink, and we see pink in the NFL, we see pink in the NBA. Anywhere else people are wearing pink, but where's the gold? Where
Yeah.
is it? Where's the gold for our children? 4%. People don't think this is happening, but people, this is happening. This is not
Yeah.
rare, it's happening. And we live through it, and there's parents that are living through it, and unfortunately there's going to be parents that are going to continue to live through it. So we need to make a
Yeah.
difference, and we need to be that voice because 4% is not enough. And it angers me so much, Marissa, because no parent should be told we can't do anything about this cancer. We haven't seen this cancer. We haven't researched this cancer. We can't do
Yep.
anything about it. No, we should never, no parent should ever hear, "Mm, there's nothing we can do." We should hear, you know what, this is what's going on, but look, because of research, these are the options. This is what needs to go. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to target it. Not for people to be passing the buck and shrugging their shoulders and being, well, you know, we can't do much. No, that's again, that's
Yeah.
unacceptable. It's not, because if it was their children, they would be going through the exact same thing. They would be jumping
Correct.
through hoops and doing whatever. But because people think it's rare and it can never happen to them, you and I thought it could never happen to us, and here we are. Here we are talking 2 years later about our children that we didn't lose our children. Again, Marisa, I always say we didn't lose our children. We know exactly where they are, and I am so happy.
Mhm.
I am just overwhelmed that Lydia got baptized the day of her
Yeah.
wedding, because that just gives us the promise that we're going to see our children again. So Marisa, I don't
It's
want to
true.
take up much more of your time. And as I do on every episode, if you could just leave us with one last thing, give us your thoughts. What would you tell parents that are going through the same thing? Parents that their children have, or their child has died. And again, like I say, also every week, what would you tell parents with perfectly healthy children? What can you leave us with?
My biggest thing is enjoy life every day to the fullest with your children. Who cares if they spill soda or whatever in your car? It's just something small. Enjoy them to the fullest. Enjoy life every day to the fullest with them. Share with them all your dreams and hopes that you always wanted to do and haven't done it, because they'll surprise you. They'll listen to you and they may just do it. Don't ever let the little things take over your life and turn you upside down, because it's not worth it. Anybody can wake up tomorrow and there'll be nothing. They won't be there. So you need to cherish every day to the fullest and enjoy life the best you can, because those kids are going to amaze you, and you're going to amaze yourself, because you're not going to realize how strong you are, because you are stronger than you could ever think, and so are your children, because they come from you. That's what I can say.
Well, Marisa, thank you. Thank you once again so much. And for you that are watching this video, this episode, if you want to reach out to Marisa, I'm going to be tagging her in everything that I post on all my social media, in the Gold Corner, my personal page, in the Bearded Rep on YouTube. I'm going to be tagging her. If you're in the New Mexico area, El Paso area, and you want to help, and I've been blessed to be getting messages from literally all over the world. So if you are anywhere in the world and you want to help Team Lydia, or you want to know a little bit more about everything that she's doing down here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, for childhood cancer, and if God touches you and you want to help her or bless her in any way, I'm going to be tagging her in everything. All the links that she sends me, I'm going to be putting on the description here. So reach out to Marisa if you want to talk to her. Just like every parent that is featured here, all of us would be willing at any time of the day to pick up that phone if you want to call us and talk to you. If you need to speak to any of the parents, I have tagged all the parents. If you need to speak to Marisa, I'm sure she would be more than happy to get on the phone with you and give you words of encouragement, or just talk to you or hear you out. Trust us, we would never ever be too busy to do that, because this is our passion now. So I just wanted to thank you all so much for watching this week's episode of the Gold Corner. It was just very emotional, very touching, because this is a young lady and a family that I got to know personally, that we got to know, me and Surasi, Mia's mom, got to know you on a personal level. We got to talk and drink coffee in the hallways and just smile and laugh and everything. You got to personally meet Mia, and you knew that little crazy girl, how she would be, running around the halls and having everybody, us especially, following her around. So
she did have you following her around.
Yeah, he did. And I don't regret it, and I don't regret it
Yes.
one bit. So, Marisa, thank you again for taking the time and sharing your warrior story with
Yes.
us. So again, I'm going to be posting and I'm going to be tagging Marisa on everything and putting up the links. So everybody,
Mhm.
thank you all so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. That helps us promote on YouTube a whole lot more, and it helps us reach more people, more places, and more parents. Hit the little bell icon. It notifies you every time I do upload a video. And like I tell you every week, please live each day to its fullest, because tomorrow is not promised. Love your family a little bit more. Hug your family, and just thank God for everything. Pray for our children. Pray for our nation. Thank you all very much. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.